I want to talk about something that I haven't really heard anyone say out loud in the retirement planning world of YouTube. And it's this: I don't want to retire and become a financial burden on my wife. Now, that might sound like a strange thing to say because we're married. It's all one pot in the end. And she'd never see it that way. I know that. But I would. And I think a lot of men watching this, and probably a lot of women too, know exactly what I mean when I say it. Because here's our situation: we don't split things 50-50. We never have. We don't sit down at the end of the month with a spreadsheet and work out who owes what. It's never been like that. Because she'll pick up the groceries, I'll cover the mortgage, she'll sort Christmas and birthday presents, and I'll book the holiday. And she'll always transfer me some money if she thinks I've had a tough month, and I'd do the same for her. Nobody keeps score because we're just not keeping score. We're just looking after each other. And I earn more, so I probably do cover more. But it's not a transactional thing. It's just what works for two people who trust each other completely. And that system, that unspoken trust-based way of operating, has run quietly in the background for years without either of us really thinking about it. But here's what I've been sitting with a bit lately. When I retire, my salary stops. The thing that's been quietly carrying most of our financial life, gone. And my wife will still be working, still earning, still contributing. And if I haven't got the retirement income to cover my share of things, the weight would shift to her. And I don't want that. Not because she'd resent it, because she really wouldn't. Not because it would damage anything between us, because it wouldn't. But because that's not who I want to be in this marriage. I've always tried to cover the bigger share because I earn more. And that's not ego. It just seems the fair way. And I want retirement to change the source of the contribution and not the contribution itself. Now, I've inherited my mum's bungalow. It's in both our names, actually, because I insisted we do that. I want to do it properly. But Diane, she generally treats it as mine. She says it's yours. It was your mum's. Even though legally, properly, it's ours, part of our pot. She just doesn't operate that way. She'd never lean on it, never count it as hers to draw on. And that pretty much says everything about her. Now, it's rented out and it does generate some income, not cleanly. It costs money too. It needs some chunky work done to it. And there's an emotional weight to it that doesn't show up on any balance sheet. But the rental income is there. And knowing it's there is important to me because it means that retirement doesn't have to mean dependency. And when I think about what I need from my retirement income, my pension and pension drawdown, if you like, the bungalow and whatever part-time income I may get, I keep coming back to the same figure. And it's £3,000 to £3,500 a month. That's my number. Not our number, mine. Enough to cover my share of our life the way I cover it now. Holidays that I usually try and sort. Bills that I try and cover. My car, my spending, and my portion of whatever the house needs. If I can generate that from my own sources, I can retire as the same person financially that I am today, just not employed. And that distinction matters to me more than I really expected it to. Because my wife, Diane, is 5 years younger than me, and she'll keep working after I stop. Well, that's the plan anyway. But she's also her mum's carer, which makes her timeline harder to predict than mine. So for a period, probably 3 to 5 years, I'll be retired and she won't. And here's the thing. So the thing I've been honest about recently with myself, when she actually sees me not going to work, when I'm here in the mornings kicking around, not doing a lot, and she's sat at her desk because we both work from home, when the weekends stop feeling precious to me because every day's got a bit of that in it anyway, that plan might change. She hasn't said that, but I know her. And I know that watching someone you love have their time back while yours is still spoken for is a different feeling from agreeing to a plan in theory. And if that happens, if she decides she's done sooner than we kind of thought, well, the numbers change. Her income will disappear. The combined cost of our life will land more heavily, which is another reason the £3,000 to £3,500 figure needs to be solid. Not just enough for phase 1, but robust enough to absorb phase 2 if that arrives earlier than we expect. Because I think there's a version of retirement planning that's all spreadsheets and withdrawal rates and safe percentages. And then there's the version that keeps you up at night, which isn't really about the numbers at all. It's about whether you can look at your wife and say, I've sorted this. You don't need to carry more because I decide to stop working. I've thought it through. I've got it covered. And that's what I'm trying to build towards. Not a number in a pension, not some safe withdrawal rate, just the ability to say that and mean it. And if that resonates, if you've been sitting with the same thing without quite putting it into words, tell me. Put it in the comments. Because I really don't think this gets talked about enough. The financial planning world talks a lot about whether you can afford to retire. It doesn't talk much about what kind of partner you want to be when you do retire. And if you're not subscribed yet, please do. It's free. It takes 2 seconds. And it's genuinely what keeps me going. And I'll see you in the next one.